The 77-inch Samsung S95D, the 65-inch Samsung S95D, the 55-inch Samsung S90D. These are some of Samsung's new 2024 OLED TVs I saw at the company's showcase event in Frankfurt, and I am going to explain the key differences between the Samsung flagship S95D, the mid-range S90D, and the entry-level S85D OLED televisions, so that you won't make a mistake buying the wrong TV, especially given that Samsung is not seeking to communicate which ones are QD-OLED and which ones are WOLED in its marketing messages. The flagship Samsung S95D will be available in 3 screen sizes of 55, 65, and 77 inches, slated to be 20% brighter than its predecessor, namely last year's Samsung S95C. Considering that these are the exact sizes of QD-OLED TV panels manufactured by Samsung Display, the S95D should be equipped with the latest 3rd generation QD-OLED panel. Certainly every S95D whose subpixels I captured at the Frankfurt exhibition carried a QD-OLED panel, as evidenced by the triangular subpixel layout. Another clue lies in the FreeSync Premium Pro certification bestowed upon the Samsung S95D, whereas the step-down S90D and S85D will only be certified to the FreeSync Premium level. Now, many of you may not know this, but FreeSync Premium Pro certification actually requires higher full-screen brightness as part of its HDR gaming specifications. And at the time we filmed this video in February 2024, QD-OLED has always delivered brighter full-screen luminance than non-MLA WOLED panels, strengthening the notion that the Samsung S95D is definitely using a QD-OLED panel. Another feature exclusive to the Samsung S95D flagship OLED is a new anti-glare filter to combat reflections. Here, we have last year's Samsung S95C on your left and the new Samsung S95D on your right. There are 2 ring lights in the same room, carefully positioned such that each is pointing directly at one screen. As you can see for yourself, the circular reflection is noticeably clearer on last year's S95C, which has a glossy screen, whereas it's attenuated very effectively on this year's S95D, featuring a matte surface coating dubbed OLED glare-free by Samsung. It's so effective that you can barely see the reflections in the majority of the same content displayed on both televisions. As explained during a technical briefing session in Frankfurt, Samsung's stance is that any reflection is a distraction, and certainly not part of the picture intended by the director. Furthermore, any specular reflection will have a different focal plane to the image on screen, which can lead to eye fatigue, because your eyes would constantly need to shift focus between the picture that's in the frontal plane and the reflections which are further back, even though you are trying harder than Tom Cruise doing his own stunts to ignore the reflections. These are the reasons why Samsung has gone to extra lengths to implement a super potent anti-glare coating exclusively on the flagship S95D, which has in turn been modified from the matte coating found on the frame. Now, a matte finish won't be everyone's cup of tea, owing to the propensity to dull the image however slightly, contributing to a hazier appearance. In addition, the effectiveness of Samsung's anti-glare surface coating is a double-edged sword, introducing not only lifted blacks, since any light hitting the screen would be dispersed to a larger area, but also occasional blooming around bright objects on screen against a darker background, due to increased internal reflections from the anti-glare filter altering the refraction physics. Otherwise, the Samsung S95D will be equipped with an external One-Connect box providing 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, 144Hz refresh rate support for PC gaming, as well as 4.2.2 speakers with object tracking sound and 70 watts of power. The step-down Samsung S90D won't have the One-Connect box or the OLED glare-free filter, so the screen coating will be glossy, which should go down well with many home cinema enthusiasts. In European markets, including the United Kingdom, the Samsung S90D will be available in 5 screen sizes of 48, 55, 65, 77 and 83 inches. Unfortunately, the smallest 42-inch model won't be coming to Europe for reasons known only to Samsung. Naturally, the 48 and 83-inch S90D will 100% be using a WOLED panel, since QD-OLED screens are not manufactured in these sizes yet. Logically, the 55, 65 and 77-inch S90D should be QD-OLED, but there's no guarantee, particularly across different regions, since Samsung won't explicitly advertise any of its 2024 OLED as QD-OLED. For what it's worth, the 55-inch Samsung S90D on show at the Frankfurt event was indeed a QD-OLED, based on its subpixel configuration. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports are found on the right rear of the S90D, each supporting up to 4K 144Hz refresh rate. The entry-level Samsung S85D will come in 3 screen sizes of 55, 65 and 77 inches, featuring lower brightness and less beefy sound. From the description, the S85D is highly likely to be using a WOLED panel, something I confirmed on a 65-inch Samsung S85D at CES earlier this year. Note that all 3 Samsung OLED TV ranges won't be blessed with the South Korean brand's cutting-edge NQ8 AI Gen 3 processor reserved for the QN900D flagship 8K Neo QLED TV. Instead, Samsung's 4K OLEDs and the QN800D 8K Neo QLED TV will have to settle for a less advanced NQ AI Gen 2 processor whose AI-enhanced upscaling and motion won't reach the heights delivered by the top-tier NQ8 AI Gen 3 chipset. On the 4K Neo QLED front, there's the highest-end Samsung QN90D with mini LED backlight, quantum dot colors, and full array local dimming, available in many screen sizes ranging from 43 to a gigantic 98 inches. One rung down is the Samsung QN85D, also featuring mini LED backlighting but with less local dimming zones than the QN90D. The Samsung Q70D loses mini LED backlight, but is still direct lit LED with local dimming, whereas the entry-level Q60D QLED is edge lit. In case you are not already aware, the Q60 series have been Samsung's best-selling QLED range in recent years, being the most affordable. Otherwise, the company also exhibited its ultra-premium micro-LED TV, as well as lifestyle products including the Frame and the Serif TVs, plus the new music frame wireless speakers, underlining Samsung's diverse consumer electronics portfolio. If you are undecided about which Samsung TV to buy, one place where you can get good advice is at Richer Sounds, a trusted British AV retailer who has won the Best Retailer of the Year award from Which Consumers Association for the 5th time in the last 6 years. Richer Sounds has more than 50 stores in the UK, and to get the best deal, advice and demonstration, go visit your local Richer Sounds store to meet the knowledgeable staff and see the TVs for yourself. Thanks again for your support. Okay, Samsung's 2024 televisions should begin shipping in spring, but should you buy a newly launched TV or settle for an older model? Well, it just so happens that I've done a video about this very topic, so go watch it here.